All right, can I ask you why it's called the Initiative? Why you picked that word? And does it have anything to do with Buffy?
Sure. Any Whedon fans here? Yeah, sure, I'll lie. Read the book. Yeah, it has lots of Buffy on every page. Willow's in the end. Buy the book. No, it's called the Avengers: The Initiative because there's a mention in the Civil War of a program that Tony Stark is thinking. Tony Stark, while he was still alive and a good guy. Take that back, erase it. No. But no, there's stuff that Tony Stark was talking about called the 50 States Initiative, where the goal, the ideal, the hope is that you would have a superhero team in every state.
So they don't care about Puerto Rico?
No. Wouldn't that be neat? Wouldn't that be cool? There's going to be all kinds. There's so much stuff. But I guess I can show you. Like they just released. Tom Brevoort put it online, so it's got to be fair. Last night, he put one page of the initiative up online.
Unless Casada's going to hit him with a crowbar.
Crowbar. There you go. Oh yeah, right. That's happening. I'd put money on that. See who'd win. Actually, that'd be fun. They could have like little stats, like class 100 strength and this. And
I'm not sure this shows really anything except maybe transportation.
It shows a bus going into a military base called Camp Hammond. Camp Hammond. So you got to ask yourself, like, what character's named Hammond, and why would there be a camp named after them, and what would you do in said camp?
I thought Hector Hammond was a DC character.
No, come on. There's who?
I know that name.
You know?
Well,
Who's
all
Hammond?
right, who's Hammond?
Yeah, go for it.
Jim Hammond.
Jim Hammond, who's the first Marvel, and also someone who has served in. There you go. So I guess Camp Hammond is named after the first Marvel. And in the bus, we can clearly see some characters coming in, and hey, there's Ultra Girl and Bengal, and I think that's Slapstick, and Thor Girl, and Rage. Rage is in the bus. So there's a lot of characters in the bus, along with brand new characters. So
this has something to do with the government.
Could be.
And it sounds as if it may have something to do, since you were the one who brought up what the original Human Torch was involved in, it has something to do with war.
Maybe. I'm really in a no man's land talking about this, but I can say that read the book and check out your Civil War stuff, and big things are coming, especially issue 7 of Civil War. It's really going to change the face of everything. It's going to be really cool.
Can you say whether this, since people have said the Civil War reflects what's going on in the country right now, does the initiative reflect current events in the real world in any way?
There will be some parallels to things that go on in the real world to things that go on to the initiative. There will be some parallels. There's a scene, I'm not saying what it's about or who's in it, where someone is talking about Iraq in the beginning of the opening scenes of the initiative. And someone says, saying over and over again, we need more boots on the ground, we need more boots on the ground. And someone turns to him and says, no, we need more capes in the air. And
so see, that's just the whole thing I was hoping you were going to say.
Yeah, so it's very much in the real world. And it's very much in the Marvel universe. And that's one of the cool things about the Marvel universe, is that the Marvel U, it really does reflect the real world more than, let's say, another comic company with places like Gotham City and Star City that I can never seem to find on maps, and President Luthor's, and I don't understand this world. But wouldn't that be really neat if you get Superboy to hit a punch and suddenly Al Gore was in office? Continuity is changing. It is neat.
No, that's the symbol of DC's attitude to continuity right from the beginning.
It is Superboy punches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I think that should be like, if you go to a comic book party and they're mixing alcoholic drinks, that's what you should go. You should call it the Superboy punch. You drink this, you wake up, whoa, I don't even remember what happened last night. I think I was on Earth 2.
And now that the Siegel estate owns Superboy, that's even more dangerous for DC.
Oh, that's horribly, yeah. You could, yeah.
Mrs. Siegel could just order Superboy to go punch out anyone.
Okay.
You know, Batman could turn into a 3-year-old girl.
Let's talk about Marvel before I get in deeper trouble and DC never hires me ever again for anything.
Oh, okay. So this is not a comedy book.
There will be things in it that are funny, maybe, if you're the kind of person that, you know, laughs at Schadenfreude. You know, but it's not going to be pie in the face funny. It's not going to be with She-Hulk. One of the things that we do for humor is that we examine the Marvel Universe and take it as real, as rote. And then you suddenly realize how absurd things are. You know, that oh my God, there's an android in a love triangle. That's kind of weird with a cowboy. So the Marvel Universe and how weird it is plumbed for humor. In the Initiative, we're looking at it a completely different way. It's very serious. Like, what would happen if your superheroes were in the real world, and how would they affect the world around them? I mean, that's one of the things we've all been talking about with Civil War and World War Hulk. And you guys are online a lot. People have been seeing me complain back and forth about how many people the Hulk has killed. Because my take is the Hulk hasn't killed anybody. Not that he hasn't killed anybody, but that the Hulk has never been responsible for the loss of an innocent life. Because if he has, then the next day when Bruce Banner wakes up, he should eat a bullet. Because he would. He's a noble person, and if there was ever blood on his hands, so it's a very, there's a word for it. We used it in She-Hulk. A certain kind of logic that you can use, where you can wake up in the morning and say, well, the Hulk should have killed people. He's been knocking buildings down for years. Someone should have died. But the fact that the Hulk is still around means he hasn't killed someone. Because if he had killed someone, Bruce Banner couldn't live with himself. So there has to be forces at work. When we read comics as a kid, like you read FF1, and the Human Torch goes right through someone's jet fighter, and the next shot is the guy happily coming down the parachute. You know, good thing Johnny Storm didn't bake that guy alive. Because we're in the Marvel Universe, and if it's not the hand of God, it's the hand of Stan and Jack that lets you know that this is a world you can escape to, not a world you want to escape from. You know, when you open up that comic book, you're going to a magical, fantastical world. And I don't want to read a book where the Hulk is popping off people's heads and eating them like Tic Tacs. That's not fun. You know, how can you ever do a story after that where the Defenders all sit around a table eating chicken? You know, how can you sit...
Well, this is actually a good line to pursue, which is that if you think of the events of Civil War being sort of 21st century grim and gritty, how do you make... Now, this Avengers the Initiative is a serious book, but how do you make it entertaining? How do you get away from the excesses that you want to stay away from? You want to make beating Marvel books fun, as you say.
I want to make them an adventure. I kind of feel that when you walk into the Initiative, you know that we're going to wallow in this. In the same way that when I know I pick up an issue of the Ultimates, I know what I'm getting in for. The Marvel Universe is big and broad and it's fun in that here you have this universe where you can have Howard the Duck over here, Steve Gerber, Howard the Ducks, but you can also have Walt Simonson Thors, and you can also have Mike Baron Punishers, and you can also have Frank Miller Daredevils, and yet they all exist together in a tapestry. No one says, like early on when we were working on She-Hulk, a lot of response was, oh, this is a funny book. It obviously can't be taking place in the Marvel Universe. And I'm like, you people will accept that Howard the Duck was fighting the space turnip over here. And you will accept that, you know, that Thor was fighting a troll in Central Park. But you can't buy the fact that there's a law firm, with talking frogs, because there's some kind of humor in it. It's a whole world. Power Pack takes place in the same world as the Punisher. Should the characters ever meet? Should they ever be in the same book together? No.
They were.
Well, they should. but they, you know, it's okay to have these pockets where it's a shared universe and they can have completely different feelings and still be fun and entertaining. So when we do the Initiative, it might get nasty at parts, but you know that when you buy your ticket.